right, fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about these ice cube trays because I'm telling you, if you don't have them, you really need to think about this. All right, so the thing I love about these ice cube trays in particular is they do have this little silicone bottom, right? They're kind of like those little poppy things that people use in their stress, right? Okay, so it's a little expensive and awkward for a great big old poppy thing, but it serves a purpose. So when you fill this up with water, whatever it is that you're doing, that helps you pop out one cube at a time. So they're ideal for things other than water, right? They're great for water. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't use it for water. I'm saying, but they're good for all the other things. So when I first started in Tupperware, they brought our ice cube tray back. They had it before, but they brought the ice cube tray back and everybody's all excited because it had the seal, right? And the cool thing about the seal is right there, there's like a max line. So you actually can just open this up and you can pour water in there and it'll fill up to that line. And when it fills up to that line, when you like shake it out, it'll be the right amount in there for your ice cubes. Okay. So that's super cool and helpful. Right. And the other thing that I love about this one versus the one that was out when I started, and it was like the old style one, is these will actually sit on top of each other. Right. And the other one sat on top of each other. But if I, for some reason, didn't want to use the seal, which happens sometimes, because at the time I didn't have an ice maker and I literally was using ice cube trays, which not a lot of people just use ice cube trays anymore, but sometimes we have to. But this will actually sit on top of the other one, even without the lid on it. Even without the lid on it, right? And that was huge because the other one would not. It did not have feet. And so it wouldn't stack unless I put the tops on them, which was kind of, because we went through so much ice, I didn't necessarily need the top on it. The tops are great if you don't use ice. Pam used to call it guest ice, right? Because you have fresh ice, because the ice will be very fresh in here and it will not take on any of the odors of your freezer. It also, in the process, these new freezers, how they freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw. And that's how they keep your food fresh, right? Is they go through a cycle. It's not thawing, but it's like, I can't remember what, oh, it's so you don't have to defrost them. They're called something frost-free freezers. I don't know. But remember when you have to defrost freezers and you have to take the pot in there and steam it and then like chip the stuff off every so many months, right? Because your freezer drawer went from being this big to this big because there's so much ice, right? It's whatever the process is, you don't have to do that anymore. And but the bad side of that process, right? Yeah, Shar knows. So the bad side of that process is that if, for example, ice cubes, it will make them smaller. It'll shrink them, shrink them, shrink them, shrink them in that process. And so if you have a seal on your ice cubes, it's not going to shrink them down. So even if you don't use these for months, and so you just have like ice cube trays in there that are for your guests or whatever it is you're using, or maybe you don't use ice that much. And so they will still be, when you go to use them, even if it's 6 months from now, they're going to be fresh. They're not going to smell or taste like your freezer. And they're going to be the same size they were when you put them in. So those are all good things, but there's more. Okay. So to all the people that are not going to use these for ice, there are so many uses for them. Everything from you can use them for pesto. I have a lot of people that use them for pesto. If you ever make pesto, a little bit of pesto goes a long way. So if you make a big batch, right, you don't necessarily need that entire batch. And if you like to put pesto onto sandwiches, almost like mayonnaise, like a sandwich spread, you don't need that much at all, right? So it's great to be able to freeze like little cubes in there. You can thaw that out and then you can use it in your sandwich spread and have fresh pesto anytime you want. I love pesto. I love pesto. It has like such a great herbiness or like that fresh herb sort ofness to it. But you can use it for stocks and broths. A lot of people use them for things like that. And it is great because adding a little couple cubes of fresh broth to any recipe is just going to enhance those flavors. Lemon and lime juice. If you ever buy a big bag of lemons or limes, it's nice to be able to just kind of squeeze them all out and save that. And then you can just toss it into your iced tea or toss it into whatever it is. I actually like lime in my water. I like lime more than lemon. And so I like to put lime in my Pellegrino. And so it's great to be able to just kind of throw something like that in there. And it's not going to water it down either. It's just going to add that flavor. Homemade baby food, that is a huge one. Especially when we first came out with the ones with the little poppy things, people loved it for homemade baby food because you can easily just pop out a cube or two at a time. thaw them out, or you can pop them all out and store them in a freezer meat and then just kind of like pull out cubes at a time. It's just whatever works for you and your system. Fresh herbs. I saw somebody say garlic. Yes, absolutely. That kind of falls underneath there. Leftover wine. I don't know what that is. I never have leftover wine. So, but for all of you that do, you can use this for that. Let's see here. Juicing and juice and pudding popsicles, right? You can use it for something along those lines. Now we do have our little tuppy things. What are they called? Top somethings. My brain just totally lollipops. Thank you. You guys all knew what I was talking about. Our popsicle makers, right? So we have those. Those are great for that as well, but you could always put them in here. Frozen fruit chunks, buttermilk, right? Because buttermilk's another thing. I don't need when I need buttermilk, I don't need a ton of buttermilk. So then I have it left over. And so it's great to be able to use. That's the thing I love about using things like this, is it really saves you from wasting that stuff. Sometimes when I do recipes, I use half a thing of chicken broth or whatever, right? So I can go ahead and freeze it because I may or may not use that again in the 7 days that it's still good once I open the carton or whatever, right? So it's helpful for that. Egg whites and yolks. So you can separate them out and then you can have them frozen for recipes that call for egg whites, you have those ready to go. Pancakes, waffles, crepe batter, great for any of that. Oh, and Char says great for a power outage. Oh yeah, I know this. I heard this trick, but I've never used it. Because to tell you whether or not your food, the penny will drop. If you put a penny in and it freezes, and so the penny actually drops, and that tells you how long your freezer has been out of power. So it just, so that way you know if the food in there is safe, because I don't know about you, but that's happened to me where I'm just like questioning and I'm like, I don't know if this food's safe. You know, and it's just especially stuff that's like right by the door or just kind of in the wrong place. So it's definitely a good tip for that. All right, coffee or tea. It's great so you don't water down. I think somebody put coffee in there or creamer. Yes, it's great so you don't water down your cold brew coffee. You can use it for that. Tomato paste and tomato sauce. Again, that's another thing that I don't always use the full can of that. So it's nice to be able to have that. And leftover gravy. Yes, I love leftover, especially like, I don't know about you, but sometimes my gravy game is on, right? And I'm like, this is some good gravy. I was just looking in my freezer today for something to eat for today, and I found a freezer mate, and it said good roast gravy. And I was like, yeah, that was some good gravy. You know, but you gotta keep that stuff, right? You don't know. Maybe you're not gonna hit it next time. You're not gonna hit the mark. So you got some leftover backup, right? Gelatin squares, flavored ice cubes, right? You can put little fruit in there, make really fancy ice cubes, all that kind of good stuff. Somebody mentioned garlic, onions, chilies, carrots, celery, all of that like mise en place that you want to have already prepped up or ready to go for your next recipe. That's perfect for that. Chocolate molds and fudge for all of our chocolate people out there. Yes, absolutely. Leftover condiments and cookie dough. What a great thing to put a little ball of cookie dough in there, and then you can just pop out a couple and have fresh cookies. All right, somebody put a tip in here. I got to see what it is. Oh, wait, my chat go. They have chickens and get 2 to 3 dozens of chicken. Oh my gosh, a day, girl. That is a lot of eggs. So we either have to use, hatch, give away, or freeze eggs. Yes, and I have heard that too. Like it's really great for freezing eggs. And eggs are one of those things that the price fluctuates, and that's with the grocery stores. Everybody needs eggs, bread, and milk, and so that's the great equalizer in the grocery store. So when they have really big sales elsewhere, they will sometimes up the price of the eggs to balance it out, right? And then vice versa. So they'll lower the price of eggs as a great deal for when they don't have really big deals going on in the grocery store. So it's great when you can buy them on sale and be able to freeze them and have them ready to go. I still get 2 to 3 dozen a day. How many chickens do you got? Put that in the chat. I'm very curious. So yes, so you definitely want to earn these. And I actually just posted that list of all the things that you can use them for, and keep that, because once you earn these and you have these around, you have 200 chickens. That is a lot of chickens. Do you mean that? Do you mean that? That is a lot of chickens. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I love that. I love that. You must have a lot of land. Okay, so once you earn these, you'll be able to use that list again. You're going to be able to experience that in your kitchen and in your household, and that's how you share it. You don't need to be a salesperson. You need to use the product. That's what you need. One just had 14. Oof, girl. so you and Jessica's like hashtag goals because Jessica has chickens, right? Okay, sorry, I digress. So when you earn these, you want to use them in your kitchen, so then that way you can just share, right? You're not selling people on them, you're just sharing all the things you do with them. You're sharing with them that you have all these chickens and you use them for your eggs. You're sharing that you use them for baby food, that you use them for all these wonderful things in your house, to be able to like have less waste. Because I don't know about you guys, with the price of food right now, oh my gosh, every time I have to throw something away, I just get sick. Like I feel physically ill. So yeah, absolutely. So this is a way to help all of us by earning these, using them in our kitchen, and we can help all of our customers by sharing with them all the different ideas that they can use those for.